Hello everyone and welcome to another live. Let me just see if I can get some technical things sorted. So let me just get my iPad sorted out if I can. Then I can see your comments and things. Excellent, I think I've got it here now. And this is me. Okay, yeah, I can see people. Good afternoon, hi and welcome again. Just give it a couple more minutes to see if people will join us and then we can get started. So today we're going to be making one of these guys. This is our Gerble. I always remember someone saying that we spelt it wrong and they thought we called it a gerbil, but it's not a gerbil, it is a Gerble, something that we created as some crazy little creature. Here he is. And they come in all different shapes and sizes, and we just love these guys. They're a lot of fun. So this is what we're going to be creating today. Again, chosen by all of the patrons. So thanks ever so much for that, for sort of joining in and enabling us to choose all the different features. So we're going to make a guide today who's multicoloured, has cab eyes, tongue, teethies, horns, and a nose. And again, please, if you have any questions, sort of write a comment and I'll see if I can answer them as we go along. I've got my iPad sorted out now, so hopefully I'll be able to answer those as we go along. And I'll take it as slowly as I can, because though these are a simple build, there are some tricky little bits. So I'm going to I'm going to do one part twice so that you can see it really carefully. This guy obviously are available on from TikTok and obviously from our website. But we are in the process of making a pattern for these. All the patterns are done, and the tutorial we have filmed and is again a case of us editing and then doing the voiceovers and everything else. So they should be available soon for you as well. So this will hopefully give you a bit of extra help when we're producing this. So you'll be able to look back hopefully and it'll help you if you do want to make one of these yourself. So there we go. It's our little Gerble. Just wait a minute more and then I'll get started with the actual build itself. Thanks ever so much for people saying, I love your puppets and videos, thank you. Good afternoon as well. Fantastic. Thanks for joining in everyone, thanks for joining us again. This will, we're going to download it as well. So what we will do at the end of this session today is we'll download it and then make it available for the patrons so they can access this 24/7. So you've got complete access to see this build again, which is great. Again! Yes, so that's going to be cool. So let's get started, shall we? So we're going to produce one of these guys today. I'll put him over to the side. Can you see him there? Yeah, look, there you go. We're going to put him to the side. And we're going to start this build. So again, please, good morning again. Dr. Moody, good morning. Again, if you have any questions, please, ask them and I'll try to answer them as I go along. And I'll try my best, put it that way. I've just put this little guy on a stand. What time is it for you guys? Someone's here saying good evening from Australia. My goodness me. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon for us here in the UK. But yeah, we were going to do this on a Saturday, but yesterday we were involved in a something working with puppets in a city in Bristol, so we had to be there. But hopefully in the future we will be able to do this on a Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Wow, you got up nice and early, and 10 o'clock at night. Fantastic. What a difference, isn't it? And 3 in the afternoon in Finland. God, thanks ever so much for joining in from all over the side. So this is amazing. So that's great. What website do we get our F3 fleece from? We get it online from Dharma. I just do a search for Dharma online, and that's where we get it from. We buy it by, I think you can buy it by meters, but we do buy obviously quite a lot because we do get through quite a lot of this stuff. 2 o'clock from Sweden. This is amazing. Thanks for joining, everyone from all over the world. This is incredible. Really cool. Anyway, let's start this build, shall we? Let's see. You can't see this poor guy now, can you? Where can we put him so you can see him? Is that better? It's going to take over my whole build plate if I put him there. But anyway, let's try this. So the first thing we're going to do, what I start off with, is I start off with this actual neck tube here itself. So I produced these originally just as a little practice puppet. I found that when I wanted to just get used to lip syncing with puppets, with music, or even just get used to having a puppet on my mouth, on my hand, I wanted something which wasn't cumbersome and I could just carry around with me. So that's why I designed these initially, was just as a practice puppet. Something I could use. So they can do all the things a normal puppet can do. Obviously they don't have a conventional body, so that's what we produced. So the black sleeve here was something which just enabled me to hide my arm just that little bit more. So that's what we're going to produce first of all, is the black sleeve. I make this out of black polar fleece, but again, you can use anything you like. So in true style, I've got some already prepared, and just some normal black polar fleece. The only thing I like to do with this polar fleece is make sure I have the stretch going in the right direction. As we talked about last time, is that fabrics have stretch, so they stretch this way here, it doesn't stretch a lot. This way here, it stretches a tremendous amount. And so when I'm doing these sleeves, and sleeves for all of my puppets actually, I like to have the stretch going across and not up and down. On the large puppets, if you have it going up and down, you'll find that as you put your arm in the sleeve, the actual sleeve just gets longer and longer and longer and longer and longer, and that's actually quite annoying. So whereas if you have the stretch going across, it'll actually help you sewing it into the head of the puppet. So yeah, that's why we have it going across. You'll see a variety of templates here. This is the old wooden one that I had, but in the kit I've given you the STL files as well, so you can 3D print. So actually in the head you'll see there's a 3D printed version if you wanted to, or you can just print it out on paper. So you can see, yeah, we've got the wooden version which I had originally, and this is the 3D printed version which we use now. Yeah, or you can just use paper. It makes no difference whatsoever. So again, marking on black is very difficult, though someone last time told me about having a silver pen. I haven't invested in one of those yet, but I do have chalk, so I'll just use chalk very quickly here. Over the coming weeks, we do intend to be doing more live streams. So again, please, I would love you to sort of give ideas and anything that you'd like to sort of find out more about, so I can do some more live streams from you. I'd like to do one a week on a Saturday afternoon, which might be Saturday evenings for some of you, or Saturday mornings for others. But basically, we're going to be sort of doing simple ones 3 times a week. So like this, the Gerble's not a large build. Something like maybe making patterns or mouth plates or casting eyes or all sorts of things like that. So We'll do short ones 3 times a week, and then on the fourth Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, we're going to do a larger build like we did last time, which will be a full-size puppet. So any of those shorter ones, if you'd like to have any ideas of how to do this and how do you, what to use or whatever, then please use our Discord, and we can actually produce something like that for all of us to use then. So yeah, I'll be able to help you out and give you a bit more information. I know the pattern making one would be great, but that might be slightly longer, but might be over 2 weeks then perhaps. Red Fraggle, yeah, where's the kit? I know we need it. It's something we are working on. We're so busy that it's frustrating that we haven't got our act together to actually do it, but it's there. We've almost finished it, so please just be a little bit more patient, and you'll receive it very soon. So anyway, this is it. You'll find that a lot of my old patterns, this is a very old one now, it says on here stretch going across, and basically that's because I forget so many times, and I'll put it the wrong way, and then it's like, oh no, I've done it wrong again. So I have to be really obvious when I'm producing a lot of my puppets. Stretch going across, head going this way, and hemline going down this way. I mean, it's that's for me. But anyway, I'm just going to use chalk to go around the outside. And as you can see, it says head up there and hemline down here, and there we have already produced. The chalk's great. It works so well on the black polo fleece. It's yeah, really cool. And then, very simply, using scissors, I'm going to cut this out. Now, this is where the head goes, and this is an exact line. And that is an exact measurement. When I say exact, it's, give or take some, but it's sort of exact. So I actually cut straight to the line. Here is a hemline on either sides. So I normally give myself, again in English, about 5 mil. American is that 1/4 of an inch, something like that. So as a hemline. Down here at the bottom, I normally make it a little bit bigger, so maybe 1/2 inch, or hey, 12 mil. I got that right then. So basically, I'll cut that out now. It's not an exact science. Apart from the top, I do like to cut straight to the line there. There we go. I do have a crazy idea that I want to pass all of you guys, and that is I would love to actually do a Dungeons and Dragons game, but using puppets, and obviously not in the next couple of weeks, but I'd love to maybe create the characters for the Dungeons and Dragons game, maybe on our last Saturday of the month. So I don't know whether you want to create an adventurer or a fighter or a bard or something like that, and we create them, and we then actually produce that actual character, and then we live stream the D&D game as well. That's the idea. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but I've played D&D all my life, and I think it would just be a great idea to actually incorporate both things, but it would take a lot of work and a lot of help. So I don't know if it's going to work, but if you're up for it, then yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. So anyway, there we go. That was incredibly difficult, wasn't it? So literally just draw around the outside. You can see I've cut really to the top here. I've got hems here and hem along there. So I then would put that to one side. Today I am going to show you sewing on the sewing machine, purely because there's a couple of tricky bits that I want to go through with you. So there we go, that's the one piece which I've got, and I'll put to one side. The next part I've got is now I'm going to do the foam work, and the foam work on a Gerble is quite simple. We have this template here, which is for the mouth plate. There's these notches on here which are very, very important. So let me just draw around that. Get my pen. So again, I'm going to put it in the middle. I wouldn't normally, I would put it right in the corner, but just so you can see what I'm doing here, just be assured, rest assured that I do sort of recycle all of this stuff anyway. So we'll use it for so many puppets later on. But anyway, initially I'm going to just draw around the outside, like so. And then I've got these notches. They're just at 90 degrees. You can imagine if I had a piece of paper and I folded it in half and I folded it in half again, that's all it is. But I've just put markers on here so I know where they are. When I remove it, you can see the markers, but I'm actually going to make it really obvious where they are. This is really, really important. It took me a while to learn this myself, but now that I've got them there, it's so much easier, or it will be so much easier. I'll again show you what I do here. Just please say hello to Zach. Hey Zach, how you doing? Glad that you can join us. So again, a very simple thing there. So just drawn around the outside. And what I'll do here now, very quickly, but again, I would normally, let's put this underneath. I'm just going to cut with scissors. You don't have to, again, I normally would use a bandsaw. You can use a blade, but again, please, please, please be careful when using a blade. They are very, very sharp. But I'm just going to cut around with scissors here. You can see I'm not going right to the line. That's not so important. It really isn't. I'm just going around as carefully as I can. There we go. There we are. And again with some black polar fleece. This is going to be the mouth plate. So this is going to be the inside of the mouth. So here's my puppet, and this is the inside of the mouth here now. So this is the bit I'm actually working on at the moment. So it could be any color. I use black, but you can use yellow, red, green, purple, anything you want. And what I want to do is I want to stick this, there we go, move that out of the way. I want to stick this mouth plate onto the black fleece. Now I've prepared mine already. I've done mine and stuck it to one side, and there's a reason for that. So if I stick this now, which I can do so, in fact I will do it now, so you can see. I use, as we've been told before, or as we said last time, contact adhesive. If you're using this yourself, use it in a well ventilated area. It does stink, it's not really that good for your health. But if I put a mask on now, you wouldn't hear a thing I'm saying. So yeah, just take care when using these materials. Some of them really aren't very nice. So I'm just spreading that out. Here we go. And sticking it on here. I have used stuff like this, is like carpet spray, carpet adhesive. The cheapest I can find. This was just all I could get at the time. So I would sometimes spray that. I would use, as we've seen, contact adhesive in these plastic bottles, which is great. But yeah, that type of thing. I haven't used hot glue, but the reason why I make this ahead of time, and I wouldn't make this now and then start using it right away, is the glue, even though it goes off, it remains tacky for a while. In fact, I think glue takes something like 24 hours to go up to its full hardness. So if I start sewing with this, which I will be later, you'll find that you'll just snap the thread a tremendous amount. It's just so frustrating. So I discovered it, sort of by trial and error really. If I make this the night before, then I sew it the next day, it's fine. If I've made this now and then I start sewing, the needle goes through beautifully, but it'll get stuck. The glue will get stuck on the thread, and then I just snap so many. it just snaps so many times, and this is the difficult part of the build, and it gets so frustrating. It's horrible. So basically, I normally make these, and then probably the night before, put them to one side so that I've got a pile of these that I can use whenever I need them. But as you saw, stuck it on with whatever glue you got available, and then just trim around the outside. And I would recommend leave that, go and make yourself a cup of tea or whatever you would normally do, and tackle the next part in the morning, I would say, rather than right away. Someone says, how long does it take to make a standard puppet from start to finish? That's really difficult. Normally anything between 6 to 8 hours, though. If it's a custom puppet, they've taken 2 weeks before, so they really can take a long time. It's thanks ever so much for answering as well, Henry. It really does depend on the complexity and everything else, but the one we made on the last live stream, it took us 6 hours, that was pretty hard going. We didn't stop for a break at all. I don't even think I had a toilet break, so that was pretty hard going to fit it within the 6 hours time. Excuse me. So that's the mouth plate. Again, all of this is available in the kit when the kit becomes available. The STL files or just the paper file, which you can print out full size. Just cut it out with a pair of scissors then, and use that as the template. Originally, what I used to do before I had a 3D printer, I used to just print them out on a normal printer and then draw it around on a piece of wood or on a piece of card, and then it lasts a lot longer. So yeah, anyway, that's the mouth, and I then put that over to one side. So I've now got the neck sleeve, and I've got the mouth already. So the next part is the fur, and we've chosen, or the patrons chose, the fact that they wanted a multi-colour fur, which is great because I've got this beautiful fur which I've got. Some of you might recognise from the fur video, and this is the sort of cow fur, which I think is great. I really like this, so I'm going to be using this today. So we're going to have a cow-ish, doesn't have to be a cow, but a Gerble which has these cow qualities. So I find sometimes that I get carried away in the sense of, I think, oh, it's cow fur, therefore it has to look like a cow, or it has to do this, or has to do that. But actually, let's just play around and create something crazy, whatever we want. Okay, so this is the cow fur, and what we need to do is put the template on top of this, draw around it, and then we can start doing some sewing later. So again, I've got my trusty wooden and the actual 3D printed version. I'll just use the wooden one there for the minute. And what we need to do when we're producing a lot of heads, especially when you're going straight onto the fabric, is that I don't draw around the outside and then draw around the outside the other side. Because what you'll find is you've got two right hands of the head. Because this is one side of the head, and then we want the other side. And you can see on here, just to remind me, flip. So it's like, come on, don't forget to flip. And you can see arrows here as well. This is if I was using it on a fleece, just to show me which way the stretch would go as well. But the flip, you'll find on a lot of my patterns, if you ever see my handmade ones, they always say flip on them, because even though I've been doing this for years and years and years, I always forget, and it's really, really annoying. So yeah, here we go. So let's put this one on here, and I'm going to draw around the outside. Now I want a bit of space. You can see I've got a cut here, so I want a bit of space where I can put a seam allowance, and again I'll show you where I put the seam allowance. Just move over slightly. So I'm going to just draw around the outside initially. I chose a colour which blends in as well, so let's just take that off. There we go. And then I flip, because it's told me to flip, and okay, just move it over and draw around the outside again. So you level the notes to yourself. You do. I have to do it because I forget all the time. I'm quite dyslexic, and some people would say quite heavily dyslexic. And because of that, even though I do the same task day after day after day, I forget, it becomes very frustrating. So I have to have these notes to myself all the time, telling me to do certain things and act certain ways. So yeah, it's frustrating, but I've got methods now to I don't know, survive, I suppose, to thrive, and it helps. So yeah. So I've got two sides now. One side, one the other side. So this is going to be the right, and this is going to be the left of the head. And now I need to cut it out. Now, as we talked about before, these are Persona blades. I've got a box here. They look like this. They come in boxes of 5, I believe. They're from America, so if you're in the States, then you'll probably find no problems getting them. In the UK, I get them from a company called coolblades.co.uk. They're quite expensive, but I find them really useful for cutting fur. You can use scissors, but I just find it easier with the blade. Now, the reason why I use a blade is because I want to just cut, and we talked about this last time, I want to just cut the back of the fur, I don't know what it's called, the fur back. So I just want to cut the back and not right the way through. Yeah, that's why I use the blades themselves. You can do the same with scissors, and it just takes a little longer because all you want to do is tiny snips. If I was doing here, I don't want to take a great big chomp through the surface, through the fur. So I would take some tiny snips and see if I can just cut the back and not right the way through the fur. You can see I've got no bits coming off there. So yeah, that's how you do it with scissors. So if you've got scissors, great, there's no problems. But the blade, it's just that slightly easier. You love watching their fur getting cut. Okay, that's yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it, really? I'm a university student, and that's the exact type of thing I'd tell my students to do. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you for that. So that's really cool. I know there's someone else says us dyslexics learn how to adapt, and that's true, isn't it, really? How that it is a case of initially it's very frustrating, but then you do learn to adapt. You learn to change, to find ways to manage, really, don't you, really? So yeah, that's really cool. Okay, and Red Frog, you said they're available on Amazon. Okay, brilliant. Or you can get them from Sally's Beauty Supply. Awesome. They are great. Apart from, they are so sharp. So sharp. They're great because you can bend them as well. So if I do this now, here you can see I've bent it, which is great for going around corners and things when you're using foam. I'll just straighten it out. The problem is you can put it down and it can sort of stand up, and then you can put your hand on top and think, oh, they're lethal, so I'll bend this one back. I've got a little box where I keep them in afterwards, so I try not to cut myself, though it does happen. Just like you burn yourself on a hot glue gun. It's exactly the same. You try not to, but it happens, doesn't it, you know? Oops, I've just lost you on my iPad. Help! My friend's here to help me today because I want to do some filming, so I'm just see if I can just help for a second. I don't know what I did. I'm back. I think I'm back. Yeah, I'm back again. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out now after all this talk. This is the area here is where the mouth is. So this is the mouth. This is where your neck is, your neck sleeve, and then this is the head. So the mouth I cut exactly. And do you remember on the neck I said, you know, we cut it exactly? Well, that's the same here. So I'm going to cut this exactly, and then we're going to have a seam allowance for the rest of the head. So with my blade, I'm going to go down and cut exactly on the mouth, like so, and exactly on the neck, like here. I'll do the same on the other one. You'll find that some furs, I don't know why, some of the cheaper furs are even worse, but they'll blunt blades so quickly. It's so frustrating. So you do one head and you think, it's gone blunt already. It's awful. So yeah, be aware of the fact that these blades don't last forever. I have heard that some people do sharpen them, but yeah, I don't. There we go. So I'm going to give myself, as always, about 5mm seam allowance, 1/4 of an inch, something like that. You know your sewing skills anyway, so some of you can probably do that a lot better, or you might want to give yourself an even larger seam allowance. That's fine. It really doesn't matter at this stage. Let me just come down here. Let's just pull that one out. And do the same with the other one. Now, I know last time I disappeared all of a sudden after an hour. TikTok turned us off for some reason. So if I do disappear for any reason, don't give up on me. It's just a technical hitch, and I will be back. I'll be there. Right, let's just move this out of the way. And you'll see we've now got two sides of the puppet. So here with the seam allowance going around the outside, a little seam allowance in here too. At the bottom, this is the mouth and this is the neck. And if I put them both together, you can see we've got a bit of a puppet there going on. So that is all of the parts cut out, I believe, ready for sewing. So I'm going to now ask my friend who's come in to help out and just move the camera, so you'll see the camera move in a second as we go over to the sewing machine, as I grab these parts. I won't be grabbing this part here, I've got one already prepared. Okay, so I'm on this large industrial sewing machine at the moment, but any sewing machine would be fine. It's just that I've had this one for years now, and it's brilliant, so I continue to use it. So the first thing I normally do is I like to sew these parts here. Now this gives the curvature of the head, so you can see as I put it together, it becomes curved. So the head curves in a little bit more. So this just gives it a little bit more shape. So that's what I do that first of all. So these are little darts which I'll sew in. So that's my first job, is I will try to flatten the fur on the inside as I do that. And use almost like a medium sort of stitch length. Just lock off the areas. So you can see here now, it's got that slight curve, okay? And then I go and do exactly the same on the other one. So here we are, so I line them up, just smooth the fur down on each side, line them up, like so. Now I can't see any of your comments now, so if you do have any questions, if you can keep them for a little bit once we're off the sewing machine, and then I'll see if I can answer them as we go along. So once we've finished here, I'll then in bulk see if I can answer them. So we've got the other part here now. So what we need to do is sew these two halves together, but we do it inside out. If I did it this way around, you would see the seam coming all around the outside. So we like to do it inside out. And I start with the nose. This is the nose. This is the mouth, remember. This is the neck. So I want to sew the nose together first, because I like that lined up. If I do make a mistake for whatever reason, especially fur does like to move a tremendous amount. If I started at the back, by the time I got to the nose, it might be all out of alignment. So I start with the nose first. Again, just tucking in the fur before I start sewing. And then aligning the back where the neck is together as well at the same time. Tucking in all the time, trying to get that fur away from the edge. I know some people tape their fur back, which is great. It's a great idea. I've seen that people use that. It's a brilliant idea. And at this stage, then I flip the puppet over, and I just make sure that it has sewn all the way along the edge, which it has. As I said, fur moves. And I have before checked, and it's like, oh no, it's gone off the edge or whatever, because fur moves so much. But no, that's right on the seam there, which is perfect. And again, now down the bottom here, you can see we've got a lot of fur here, so I like to make sure it's really tucked in, like so. Spend some time tucking that fur in, and we sew along the bottom there. Okay. So there we go. This is our puppet. If I turned it inside out now, you would see it's it's looking like a Gerble, sort of, apart from you can see my hand there, which doesn't really work. So we now need to do the most difficult part of this build, and I'm going to show you twice, because I really want you to get the idea of this. Sorry for those of you that really do know, you're sewing and do a really great job, but for those of some others that might not do so well, I'm going to take my time here and show you again. So I've just turned it back inside out again, and I've got, once I've prepared already these mouth plates, can you see the lines here which are actually on there? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to sew this bit, or this mouth, into here, and I want it to all fit together really, really nicely, like so. Now the great thing about a mouth is I've got a nose at the top. I then have this area here, which is the corner of your mouth, mouth corner, sorry, chin, other mouth corner, and then back to the nose, and that aligns to align, 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 align. So as long as you line up those things, so a nose on one, mouth corner, chin, mouth corner again, is that right? As long as you do those things, you'll find it will all fit together really nicely. So that's where we need to go. So let me move that one out of the way. As I said, I'm going to do this twice, because it can be confusing. It's hard to explain to you. So this is my nose. So this is the top, right at the top. And I'm going to line it up with any one, it doesn't matter, with any one of these lines. So I'm going to line it up with a line, okay? Don't worry about the rest yet. Let's just line the first one, the nose, with the line. And I'm going to put that, he said, his foot underneath the machine, okay? Tucking in the fur as well. Okay, so the nose is lined up with that line, and I'm going to sew around the edge. Now, how close to the edge? About 5 mil again away from the edge, about 1/4 of an inch, between 1/4 and a little bit more, not half, but you know, I don't know what that is. So between 5 mil and 8 mil maybe, going around the edge. Now I'm getting near to my next line, and I want my next line to line up with the corner of my mouth. So I'm going to get the corner of my mouth and line it up with the next line. So I'm going to come around. Once that one's lined up, I actually put the needle down normally to hold it. I get the chin. Here's my chin, and I line the chin up with the next part. So make sure it's lined up with that, with the line, and I poke the fur in again and go around the outside, making sure it lines up with the chin. And my next one, I've got another corner of the mouth, which I need to line up with the next line on my mouth plate. Again, taking time, poking all the fur in, making sure it's all lined up. Is at this stage, if I'd made this mouth plate and started, made this mouth plate today, and then started to sew, is at this stage that the cotton would have broken and everything else. It's just so frustrating. So yeah, that's why I do it the night before. So that's lined up, and I've just got this last quadrant, this last quarter to come around. I normally grab the initial start there and to pull it all the way around to the beginning where I started, and cut that off, turn it the other way around, and you'll see that it's gone all the way around the outside there. Okay, is that clear? If it's not, don't worry, I'm going to do it again. All right, so let me just turn it inside out, and you'll see the mouth plate is sewn in place now, look. And it's becoming a little bit like a gerbil. Okay, excellent. So let's do this again, shall we? So bear with me then. I've got a pink one here, and so again, all cut out ready. So I'm going to do these parts first. So make sure the fur is in place. And my foot's just come off. Of course it has. Excuse me a while. Once we fix this. Let's get the screwdriver, tighten that up. No. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. Right, brilliant. Let's try that again. So first of all, I'm going to sew these parts together. So again, this is the bit to give the shape to the head. Okay, so the little dart together. Okay, one there, which is quite straightforward. And then do the same again on another one. So sew the dart together. There we go. And then we're going to sew the nose first. Remember, I do the nose first because fur moves, and if I do it at the back, then when I get around to the nose it might have moved. So I do the nose first, poking fur in. And then grabbing the back right by the neck, sticking the fur in, and so. Checking to make sure it has gone along the seam, that I haven't got a hole there, and then doing the same again with the bottom of the head, the chin. Poking the fur in. Okay, like so. Right, let's try this mouth again. So, remember when we made this, we had these lines. These are on every quarter. Okay, so we did that, and we've got a nose, we've got the corner of the mouth, we've got the chin, we've got the other quarter of the mouth, which then goes back to the nose, and each one of these lines up to one of these lines. Okay, so take your time. We leave this inside out because we want this, and we want the black here, which is the inside, so we want them all to be sewn together. So I start with the nose, so I line the nose up with one of the lines, like so. Okay, and I normally put the foot of my sewing machine here first. So I like to make sure it's all lined up. So I'm going to put the foot there first. Make sure everything is lined up, and then sew the first part. I then make sure the needle is down actually, and get the next part ready. So I make sure the corner of the mouth is lined up with the next mark. The next mark is here, the corner of the mouth is here. Make sure the fur is poked in, and I go all the way around the outside to the quarter, and then I get the chin ready, and I make sure the chin is lined up with the next line. So that's there. Push all the fur in, and sew around the outside. Don't go all the way, and again make sure that the next corner of the mouth is lined up with the next quarter on the actual foam. Make sure the foam is all pushed, the fur is all pushed in, and sew around the outside. And then last of all, I've got the last one. As you see, I always seem to grab this, and I make sure the fur is poked in, and I go around the last part like so. And when I turn it over, you can see I've gone all around the outside again. Sometimes again fur moves and everything else, and you'll see there's a bit of a gap, so you might need to put it back in the machine and redo a certain area, but that there is now in the right position. So we can turn it inside out, and you can see it's now a pink little fluffy gerbil. Okay, let's put that one to one side. Let's go back to our cow. So this is a the neck sleeve then that we produced. So this one here is where the cut, which goes straight to the neck, and I've got a seam allowance down the bottom. So the first thing I normally do is put on the seam allowance. I fold it over and give myself a nice seam allowance down the bottom. There we go. Again, I'm sorry I can't answer any questions at this moment in time, but I will do, once we get back to the table and start looking at features and things, I'll spend some time then answering questions. So if you do have any, just wait until then and I'll see if I can. So the next thing is I want to turn this the other way around so I can actually sew this seam next to each other. So let me just make sure they're lined up. And there we are, just sewn that seam in place. Okay, so you can see I've now got a tube. It's you can see the seams and everything, so it's obviously inside out, so we don't want that as yet, but when we turn it all the right way around, it should be fine. Now again, I've done this wrong so many times, so leave it inside out. You get your head, which is the right way round, and that needs to be stuffed inside the sleeve. Okay, now again on the head we've got the same sort of setup. I normally like to get the seam at the back of the head, and I'd like to line that up with the seam on the back of the neck sleeve. So I get the thing is a bit, you've got to shove the thing in, I'm afraid, but because we got the stretch on the neck sleeve right, it's not too bad. So I get the seam here, which was on the back of the head, and I line it up with the seam on the back of the neck sleeve. Okay, so I do the same thing. First of all, I like to get started, so I make sure that's really nice and tidy. I know this is all messy at the moment, but I like to make sure the start is really nice and tidy, really nice and clean, no fur coming out. I don't start on the actual seam, I start over here, so I'll put the foot down over here. So put the foot down, and then to hold things in place, once I get myself sorted, I'll put the needle down, and that way I can move things around if necessary. So that's in place now, and now I can make sure all of the fur is tucked into the first part and it's ready to do its first stitch. So I'm going to stitch along, make sure the needle is down, and then do the same again. So grab it, make sure all the fur is in, tuck it in, make sure it's all in the right place. Now because I made the top of the neck sleeve exactly right and the bottom of the neck of the Gerble exactly right, they should fit together exactly without any pulling around or anything else. So just pushing the fur in bit by bit by bit, take my time, make sure everything is in the right place. Next part again, push the fur in, out of the way. You might have seen me do this before when we're making Gerbles. You might have seen me actually do this in this stage, actually on the build. Coming around, and last part, meeting the necks, just lock it off there. And I should have one Gerble's head sewn inside the neck sleeve. And all I need to do then is push it out, and he's attached, but I don't want to do that yet, so I'm going to put him back. Okay, so we're now going to go over across to the other making table where we finished with the sewing machine, and let's answer questions, and hopefully I can help you if you had any problems there. Okay, so I'm back at my table, on my making table, so if you have any questions, I'm just going to grab a quick drink. If you have any questions, type them down now and I'll see if I can help out. One of my favourite features for the Gerbles, for some reason, Gerbles always remind me of like gremlins and things, so anything to do with teeth and horns and that sort of thing I really like. So Yeah, that sort of thing. People have been gifting, and wow, thank you so much for that. That is just incredible. I really, I'm not, I don't know what I'm doing necessarily on live, but all of a sudden I see gifts coming up, and it's like, thank you so much. That's just like incredible. So thank you for doing that. It's just amazing. Really, really do appreciate that. Someone said we made puppets for TV and film. Yeah, we've done quite a lot. Certainly before COVID, we did loads. The team was involved in many projects. Since COVID, things have shut down a tremendous amount, and I don't know why. We were at a puppet get together yesterday, and we were talking to other puppet makers, and it seems to be the thing. I don't know what's happened there, but yeah. So it's difficult really, but this is great. What we're doing is really good. Thank you. Thank you very much for all the gifts and things, and thank you. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. So let's get back to this build, shall we? Let's get back to what we're doing here. Now this puppet at the moment is great. He's so let's get back to this build, shall we? Let's get back to what we're doing here. Now this puppet at the moment is great. He's is lovely. It would work perfectly well here, but I think I've stopped. No, I'm back. I'm back. It's okay. It's it would work fine. Let me just turn it inside out and I'll show you. So if I started using him now, it'd be like a little puppet, which is quite cute, and really do like it. It's great. But what I find is that, I'll just turn him back again, and you might have seen on our build, is I like to split the back of the foam. The reason being, it just makes the mouth work a little bit better. This is not a necessary step, it's just something I like to do. So again, with a blade, you've probably seen me do this. I fold the puppet in half, and very, very, very carefully, I like to cut across the top. Someone has said, I think they disconnected. Am I here still? If you let me know if I am still here, not just talking to myself, that would be great. Am I here? Yay! Okay, I'm back. Good. You did lose me as well. I thought I had for some reason. It's I don't know what happened, but good stuff. I'm glad I'm back anyway. Just in case you you missed that, what I said before was basically, though the puppet works fine without doing this, I like to just slice the back of the foam. It just gives a little bit of extra movement in the puppet. If I this one here is obviously the mouth plate I made earlier. You can see it works. It works fine. But once you split the back, it produces more of a hinge, and so it just works a lot better that way. Okay, so that's why I like to split the back. So there we are. I've split the back, and then I turn it back the right way. And it's at this stage I now think, what on earth am I going to do to this this Gerble? I normally get a comb of some sort. I've got a very wide tooth comb. This one's, you can see the teeth are broken and all sorts. But I like just to go around the edge, making sure that the mouth plate is sewn in place properly, which you can see it is. Sometimes I'll use hairspray at this stage as well, just to keep the fur away from the mouth plate, and just see what I'm doing. And I'm just teasing the fur around here, making sure everything is sewn in place as it should be. Sorry, you can't see there. I'll show you myself and not you. There we are. So I'm just making sure everything is sewn in place. Spend a little bit of time on this. You can see that sometimes, especially around the chin area, spend a little bit here. You might need to spend a little bit more time. It seems to grab in there a lot more than anywhere else. But there we go. And we have one floofy little gerbil. There we go. Okay. Let's turn my hot glue gun on at this stage. So the patrons actually said that they wanted cab eyes, tongue, teethies, horns, and I know we only normally have 3, but it's today's. We're going to have a nose as well. So tongue, teethies, horns, and a nose. There we go. So yeah, pretty fantastic there. I've just noticed there I need to pull that out just a little bit more. Really cool. And we found this, actually realised that this is the 100th gerbil that we've made. So that's quite a few gerbles in the last 6 months, maybe? I don't know, maybe even less. But this is the 100th gerbil, so let's celebrate with a tongue and everything. Let's tongue, teeth, horns, and a nose. But the first of all, I'd like to start off with, depending on what I'm putting on. So I normally would start off with a tongue. I like to get the symmetry right. Now, I know puppets, you know, they don't have to be completely symmetrical. I mean, it's crazy to think none of us are. My eyes are all over the place. So to expect, you know, that to be the case with this puppet, it would be quite hilarious. But I like to have some sort of symmetry. So I've got a tongue here, and I probably normally put the tongue in first. And once I've got the tongue in, then I would decide where I want to put the teeth in. And then once I've got the teeth in, I then try to line up the eyes on top of that. So I start with the tongue first and then go on from there. So you'll see we sort of do this sort of thing first and then make sure it's all lined up. So I'm going to just put this tongue in, then we can start working out how we want this character to actually look. So I'm going to do that. I put it in with hot glue. The hot glue is incredibly strong. Whenever I've decided later on I don't like it, I'm going to take something out, you can't. The hot glue, once you've glued it in, that's it. So I need to, I put a blob or a line of hot glue along the back. It's still not heated up enough yet. I'll put it along the back. Now, if you put it right on the edge here, when you squeeze it in, the hot glue will come out and then it will actually glue onto the black. So when I put the glue in, I'll put it in about, again, 1/4 of an inch away from the edges, because when I squeeze it down, I don't want any residue actually going on the puppet itself. And when I do this, you'll see I use my fingers to actually hold it in place, because I don't like it sometimes when the hot glue hasn't gone off, the tongue can actually move and then it could smear down here on the black as well. So I don't like that. So when I put I'll glue the tongue in, and then I'll actually use my fingers to hold it in place whilst we do the check, the tongue check. Okay, so let's, hopefully the hot glue gun will be ready. You are right. As I said, hot glue can go anywhere, and once it's there, that is that. You know, it's just awful, isn't it? Really. So, yeah, just take care. Don't put it on the edge of anything. Just put it. You know, give yourself a little bit of space for the glue to spurt out. Let's see if it's ready. Why is it the hot glue gun never actually heats up when you want it to as quickly as you want? Yeah, it's quite frustrating. So is anyone, whilst we're waiting for the glue gun to heat up and whilst I have a quick drink, anyone, what would you like to see next? What would be your next video you'd like to see? Who made the Gerble dance? Yeah, that was me and my own stupidity one night, I think. I'll go through all the names of the eyes in a second so you can see those. Yeah, we are still working on the head showcase as well. I think we've got now 10 heads ready and filmed, so we're just going through those at the moment, trying to film more. But as you can imagine, there are 20, so yeah, it's difficult there to get them all sorted. But we are working on that, certainly. Okay, we're getting there. It's almost ready. Almost ready. Actually, whilst we are waiting, we'll go through the eyes. So, one of our team members casts all of these eyes, and these are fantastic. So, these are. I'm going to try to do it as carefully. This is rainbow, and these are beautiful. I'm going to try to do it so you can see them bit by bit. So that's the rainbows. These are called Equator. I don't know if you can see how beautiful they are, but these are stunning. I really like the look of those. The colours are fantastic on those. Then we've got Galaxy. Okay. And then we have Kelly. Now we had a work experience girl come and spend some time with us, and she named all of these. We've got, I don't know, maybe 150, 200 different types of eyes, and one of her jobs was to actually name all of these. So I don't know why that one's called Kelly, but maybe it's one of her friends. This is Desert. There we go. And then last of all, we've got Misty. So great, aren't they? Really, really good. So we'll stick those into the eyes in the second, once I've done the hot glue. Now, all of these, of course, everything I'm showing you is available on our website. This isn't a sales pitch, but literally all of the names, all of the cabs, all of the eyes, all of the everything you can actually get. So you might think, actually, I'm not necessarily into making puppets, but jewelry or something. Then you can find them on the website, and yeah, it's everything's available there for you. So, hot glue gun is now hot, certainly very hot. Take care, as always, with hot glue guns. I've burnt myself so many times with these things, so you're all aware of the fact, but take care with hot glue guns. They're called hot for a reason. And as I said, I will now put the glue not right on the edge, because as you squirt the glue down, it will literally squirt right the way out, and then could ruin your puppet. So I'm going to line it up to the center of my puppet, hold my fingers in place, and do the chomp test. And yes, I think it passed. There we go. I then will take it out very carefully and put my hand inside, and I then glue that in place as well. So make sure that it's in the right place. I wanted a slightly longer one, so he's poking his tongue out. So you can see as soon as you start doing the tongue, how that the characters start to evolve. So this is great. Okay, so here's our first part. So it's the tongue. At this stage, you can move things around once it's still a little bit wet, so making sure it's all in the right place. It's hard for me to show you on camera and at the same time, but I'll try my best there. So the next thing I like to do is teeth. We have a number of teeth. So we showed, I think, earlier in the week, these are some vampire type teeth, which I love. We used to resin print these, but I now use my bamboo to actually print these, and they're great. They're coming out really great. So you can put some like vampire teeth on him. Or we've got the large pointy teeth, which are ones we use a lot of. like so. And then we've got even smaller teeth, which are the same really, but smaller. And you can see here. So, the choice is yours. Let's see what people would like. Would you like vampires, bigger teeth or smaller teeth? I got lots of these smaller teeth because I don't normally vampires, bigger teeth or smaller teeth. I got lots of these smaller teeth because I don't normally do this on Gerbles. I was wondering whether I could get quite a few smaller teeth on there. Row of tiny ones. That's what I was thinking. Just, I haven't done it before. And yeah, okay, that's what we're going to go for. I love the vampire row of tiny ones. That's what I was thinking. Just, I haven't done it before. And yeah, okay, that's what we're going to go for. I love the vampires, don't get me wrong. I love the human looking ones as well. But I haven't done this before with a Gerbil. So yeah, why not? Let's do the smaller one. So this is what I'll do first. I'm going to probably get so smooth it right out. So make sure the hair is right out of the way. And we're going to use the hot glue gun again. So make sure it's right out of the way. I've got 5. Okay. Here we go. So take care again, people. It's hot. And again, with teeth, make sure the glue is just a blob in the middle, not all the way, because you don't want it oozing all over the puppet. So I'm just putting little blobs in the center. When I put it on, I twist them around. Right. Got space for 2 more. Or just 1 in the middle. Certainly, which doesn't make sense at all, I know, but it's a creature, so it's just having 1 in the middle. Nothing makes sense when there's a Gerbil. There we go. So again, I put my hand inside now, and I'll make sure they are really pushed down tight and connected. Okay, so we've got lots of teeth now. Certainly got a chomp test now, isn't it? Okay. So the next thing it says, we've got, so I've done the tongue, I've done the teethies, we've got nose. So again, I 3D print these. So I've got like a pink nose. I got a really big one this time. I've got a black nose. And then we can go smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But again, normally I go for really small on the Gerbles, and I'm just wondering whether I can get away with a great big pink nose with lots of teeth. It's certainly not anything like a cow now, which is fine. It doesn't have to be. This is a Gerbil, you know, so it doesn't really show on camera the colour. I mean, it shows, this is a great colour pink. It really is a great colour pink. So I think I would like that, but I know you'd all love your own different ideas. Medium black, big pink, so cute. Okay. Someone's agreed. I know you'd all love your own different ideas. Medium black, big pink, so cute. Okay. Someone's agreed. Just, you know, we can so often get caught up with what should look right and what shouldn't look right, and it's just like, you know, it's just great to have fun sometimes. It's just great to play around with this. So I'm going to go with a great big pink nose. What I'll do with this is very carefully is I like to cut away a bit of the fur. I say carefully because obviously the nose is going to go hopefully in the center somewhere, so you don't want to go through the seams or anything. So I'm just cutting away a little bit of the fur so the glue has a place to stick down on. Okay, a bit more over here, I think. I think it needs to go over here a bit more, doesn't it? Okay, and then I got somewhere for the glue to stick. Okay, so moving that out of the way again, hot glue gun again, just in the center, obviously more now because there's a great big nose. Careful not to burn yourself and plonk it down on top. Put your hand inside carefully and then press it down into place. It's at this point you look at it yourself, make sure it's lined up. Thankfully hot glue will enable you to move it just a little bit, but what a crazy character we're creating now, isn't it? There we go. Right, so my next task after this is we've got obviously the eyes and we've got horns. I like to do eyes next because obviously that's lined up in the right place. So colours then, people, we've got desert, we've got, so this is misty, this is desert, Kelly, galaxy, equator or rainbow. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to work out which ones you think would be best, and I'll choose the most popular, I think. What a crazy looking critter that is though. Yeah, we've had quite a few Kellys. To be fair, I like them all. Equator's fantastic, but Kelly, we're going with Kelly. Okay, I've seen a lot of Kellys. I'm going to go with Kelly. So I get 2 Kellys here, and these are ones I've prepared already. These are just 3D printed, and again available on our website. So if you want to have eyes. I found this was the first thing, when my very first 3D printer I got probably 10 years ago now, quite a long time ago. It was an awful 3D printer, but the reason why I got it is because the thing I found most difficult with puppets was finding eyes. I used ping pong balls, but then after that it was really difficult to find something that I could use as eyes, so I started designing eyes that I could use myself. And so yeah, we've been making these now for years and years, but they're great. They've got the hole there ready, so you can then buy just a blank in a sense, and then choose literally any color you want, and then it's a case of we just super glue these in place, and we went for Kelly and they just plop in place, as you can see. And the next one, there we go. So we've got 2 here available. Make sure they're pushed down hard. I find, I don't know why, but I think it's because these here are glass, so they're glass cabochons. And so when you use super glue likes to, the way it works in a sense is it evaporates. It's really not very nice for you, but it evaporates, and that's the stickiness. Well, it finds it very difficult to evaporate through the glass cabochon, and so you've got to be careful. They take, whereas super glue would normally take seconds, these might take 5 minutes before they go off really hard. So just something to be aware of, that's all, if you are sticking these in. But yeah, there they are. They look fab. Awesome. And then what I would then do is again, there we go. They all bolt in place. So I normally put a washer on the back, and then we've got these where they just screw in. So again, if you're making them yourself, you can move eyes around, or you can take your set of eyes off one puppet and use them on another, if you like, you know. So it's great that way. So what I do now is I put this inside, and I work out where I want the eyes to go. And I'm going to try to, it's very difficult to do this at the right angle so you can see as well where we want the eyes to go. So we normally this is my thing, I don't know why I like this, but I normally like to have them quite close together. Now, let's see if I can, is that a better angle? Okay. There we are. So I normally like to have them slightly closer together, but I think this would be great if it was really crazy and the eyes were further apart. And I drop them on the floor. So, I mean, again, they can come down really low, almost beside the nose. I mean, that's crazy looking, isn't it, really? Yeah? So, I'm going to pick up the eye. And it is amazing how that, as you said, if I put the eye here or the eye right at the top or whatever, it creates so many different expressions. You're right, it's incredible, isn't it, really? Thank you. Someone said put some baking soda. So I'm going to try to scroll through. I have a tip for that. Put a bit of baking soda on the back of the cab. Brilliant. Thank you for that. That's really good. Thank you. Different orientations of the eyes, different expressions. Yeah, certainly. I'll do that in a second. Yeah, certainly. Certainly crazy eyes. Absolutely. So I'm going to put them quite wide apart, I think, because it's something I don't normally do. As I said, I normally put them close together, and this one, he is so crazy, or she is, or it is. I'm going to put them a long way apart. So I cut it with a blade, poke the screw through, and then just screw them in place. So I really don't normally put them this low, but the annoying thing with the fur is it sometimes does get caught up in the screw, but it's fine. Just screw it up. There's one. I normally would tuck that underneath the fur, underneath the eye. There we go. And take the bolt of the other one and put that. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I've created. I'm sorry, guys. If this haunts you in your dreams tonight, I'm sorry. I've already got some fur stuck in that thread, so I'm going to just unscrew it quickly. It cleans out. It's a problem when you're on live, you're trying to rush and you're trying to do things, but alright, let's see if I can do it properly again. There we go, it's perfect now, let's see. Just panicking. Okay, this thing is, yeah. There we go. So that's it so far. Now, as someone said, yeah, with the expression of the eyes, I mean, you can have one going up just to make it look even crazier than the other, and the other one going down. You know, this really, you can make them by turning these now. Because they're on a thread, you can turn them any way you want. I do like to have them focused most of the time, though, because I'd like them to look as though they are looking at me, and it makes them more alive. So, oh dear, yeah. So the next thing we've got now is horns. So they attach the same way. It's exactly the same thing. I've got some sort of nuts and washers, which I put together, and then I get some horns. So we've got a selection of horns. I've got these sort of curved ones, which may look pretty good, pink on there. One up, one down. We've got different colours completely. I'm going to go for pink, I think. I've got like unicorn ones, which are crazy looking. Some really large sort of twisted ones. The tiny little ones we would normally use, which are quite cute. Let's see if I can get my hand in this. So little ones here. I do like those though, I must admit. Unicorn. Or little black ones maybe. I think personally, see what you think, I like these, but what do people think? Smaller curved ones, yeah, I like that. These, I think I really like these. Now all of them are attached the same way actually. Let me just get my screwdriver. Here. Because again they 3D print, they have little things on the back, and then I just put these inserts in them, so it enables them all to be attached to their head. Just put those on. Oops. There you go. So these are, I'll normally just super glue them in just to make sure they're nice and tight. So just a blob of super glue, that's all. If you get these from our shop, they're already super glued in place. They're already done, so you don't need to worry about that. I'm just showing you the process. And they come with the little bolts and nuts and washers and things as well, so that's no hassles. Let's move these out of the way. I normally try to bring out different designs as often as possible. I know some patrons have STL files which they can access, and so yeah, I'll be trying to bring out more designs for them as well very, very soon. I think the horns are going up next actually. So I'm going to put the horns on and have it going over slightly wonky. So again, I'm just using the blade, be careful, poke through, and we have one horn. Sorry if I don't read all of your comments, it's hard to actually produce the puppet and read at the same time, and everything, and realise that not all of your choices will be made. Sorry about that, but maybe next time we'll do another one. And this one here. Again, I would normally spend time lining them up properly and making sure it's all clear there, but I want to show you what I'm doing at the same time. So this one might be a little lower than the other, but there, I think he's okay. I'm going to try to get him on camera so you can see what he looks like. There he is. He is, yeah, he's an interesting little character. Backstory, what's his name? Any name for this guy? Wow. Yeah, he's quite a character. But that is basically how we make a Gerbil. And as I said, the patterns will be available soon. All the bits are available. Certainly now you can go onto a shop and get horns and eyes and everything you might need there. But the patterns will be available very soon for you to do. For you make your own. The video that we're doing now, we're going to download, and it will be available for the patrons, so you can access this at any time. So if you're stuck about anything, then basically it'll always be there available for you to actually access. The actual pattern itself, we will have a tutorial as well, so going through showing you a lot quicker than what I spent today, and a lot more polished, but we'll have that ready. Now this guy is going to be available as a raffle prize. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make some tickets available. Watch this space, and I think really not very much, probably just £2 for a ticket, and you'll have a chance to win him. Yay! And it'll be, I don't know, something like 25 tickets available or 30 tickets available or something like that. So you really will have a good chance of winning this guy. So I think the builds we make, we'll probably just make available for you to actually get yourselves. So this guy is available, and names, it looks like a gremlin. Yeah, I don't know. Ruckus, what a great name. Yeah, I think Ruckus will be available for you. Hi! Yes! So, there we go. Our first shorter build for a while. If you have, again, any other ideas for our other short builds over the coming weeks, I'll be doing another one on next Saturday, I believe. So give me an idea. What would you like to see? Hour-long builds, maybe an hour-long live, something like that. You know, what would you like to see in the next live? Yeah, we can build from there. And as I said, I really, really, really would love help from you guys with the idea of doing a D&D game using puppets. So that would be fantastic if some of you would love to help out with me there, because I really do need help with that. I'm on Discord, so head over to Patreon to support us. You can just join for $2, I think it is, and then you've got access to Discord, so we can all talk about these things. And then there's so many different levels where you can access all sorts of different stuff. So that would be really helpful. So yeah, in Discord, maybe let us know what you want by next week, or even here now. This will be available on Patreon or on Patreon for you to access as soon as I've downloaded it today. Last time it took a week because it just took so long for us to be able to upload it, but we will make it available for you. Okay? Thanks ever so much for your help, and some of the people here saying they'd love to help with the D&D idea. I really, really would love that, please. So yeah, absolutely. Things like alignment, class, race, all that sort of stuff, and work out how we could actually get the thing to work. Because I'd love for it to be live, for a live game, for live builds, for live everything. So, but I need almost like a group of us to work together to get it to work properly. If that's a team, that'd be really cool. Thanks. There's a few more questions, and I'm going to have to sign off for today, for Sunday, and we'll see you next week. No, I think we're okay. So thanks ever so much again for watching the build. Thanks so much for all of your support as well, the gifts that you sent, for your comments, for everything else. It'll be absolutely fantastic. You've been great. Thank you so much for this, and I'll catch up with you again next week for another live. Thanks a lot. Bye. I'm from Ruckus as well.
Bye.